calling the meeting back to order. Miss Angie Roberts.
And that is me. Do I approach y'all kind of what I noticed he came up to the desk? Is that what? Okay. Okay, so I want to thank you for letting me come and address all of y'all today. I kind of have a prepared statement here, and I'm just going to kind of read off of that, if that's okay. And then we can have a little further conversation if you'd like. But my name is Angie Roberts, and I work for Basic of Northwest Florida. And we are a nonprofit, and we serve 5 counties, Washington County being one. Our goal is to provide free HIV and hepatitis C testing for people because we want people to know their status, and we provide linkage to care, which means we have access to programs that can help people pay for medication, which is cures. Not everybody knows their status, and HIV and hepatitis C are both things that can ravage your body for 10 years before you have any kind of symptoms. You know, so that's scary for public health. Our motto is compassion without judgment. We're part of a national movement that raises awareness, erases stigma, discrimination, and we advocate for new and necessary resources and solutions to stem the tide of HIV and AIDS in the South. There is a crisis in the South. According to the Southern AIDS Coalition, there's more than 500,000 people living with AIDS in the South, and 52% of all new HIV diagnoses are in the South. The Florida Department of Health has adopted a 4-key component plan to eliminate transmission and HIV-related deaths, and it's diagnose, treat, protect, and response. We diagnose HIV as early as possible, treat rapidly and effectively, protect people through proven prevention interventions, including PrEP and medication that can prevent HIV. There's a preventative now. And respond, which means increase your outreach, awareness, and engagement. The goal of the program is to reduce new HIV infections by 75% in 5 years. By the end of 2019, 1 in 157 adults were living with HIV. You break that down to race. 1 in 308 white people are living with HIV. 1 in 52 African Americans are living with HIV. They are 15% of of Florida's population, 49% of positive diagnoses. So we have to do more outreach in African American communities. So county numbers. By year end 2019, Washington County had 161 people that were living with HIV. Jackson County 457, Bay County 501 homes, and Calhoun County both had under 30 people. This kind of tells me we need to do more outreach, and that's what I'm kind of here asking for y'all today. The Florida Health Department recommends that adolescents and adults aged 13 to 64 should be tested for HIV at least once in their lifetime. Persons with increased risk should get tested annually. If you are practicing safe sex and using precautions, if you are not using precautions, it'd be good to test every 3 months. Preventatives have come a long way. Access to condoms. PrEP, which is a preventative, which actually prevents you from acquiring that. And new antiviral therapies that reduces your threat of death. It actually can bring you down to an undetectable level, which means you are then not passing that virus, which is spectacular to me. And of course, condoms are important to preventing STIs and unwanted pregnancy. So what I'm asking of the council is I would like to do some outreach up here. We need locations where we can set up a testing site. Basic has ordered a bus If we should be getting it, we're thinking mid-September, but until then, we do have hand care that will come in and set up with us and offer their services as well. And I would just like to ask y'all if y'all would provide us a place that we would be able to set up our bus or set up a table and offer free testing for people. Hepatitis C, there's no reason why anybody should be living with that. There's a cure. It's extremely expensive. It's $100,000 to cure hepatitis C. But we can help people with that. If they're uninsured, we can help them. We can help them get the medication they need. If they're underinsured, we can help them pay their co-pays. It's important. It's important for public health. And would y'all be willing to permit us to set up?
Is this once a week or how often do we see
You know,
that?
it would just, no, it would not be once a week. Now, if you wanted us to come in once a week, we'd be more than happy to do that, absolutely. You know, and actually, we will go to anybody. We will go to their homes and test them if they're more comfortable being tested in that manner. It's just we're trying to get the information out to people of what we do, what we offer. In your bags, I did provide some of the information that we give to people. I also included information on how to talk to teens about HIV. And I also included information about abstinence and why it's good to wait. I packed condoms in a pack to show you how we would package them. One thing we do not have in this area, Wausau and Vernon, there's no health department. Kids don't have access to condoms. I think that's a problem. I'm also having a hard time locating somewhere that they would be open to it. I know we all like to not give our kids permission to have sex, but they're not going to ask our permission. I didn't ask my daddy. So, you know, most kids aren't. I do know you have a library. If, you know, some of your information that's in your bag, you know, libraries are resources. Libraries are places where kids go to get answers. You know, can we put some of these things in your library? So I know it's a difficult subject. And I know maybe it's hard to, you know, to okay it. But I do ask that you give some thought to help protect the community. Do y'all have any questions for me?
You talk about bringing a bush, what are you talking about? How big a bush?
It would depend on what Pan Care will give us.
How much do you need, how big a place do you need to park here?
Well, normally it's gonna, you know, what I think we would probably tend to bring up here would be a little bigger than like a conversion van.
It's not like the big red bus.
No, it's not like the big red bus, but it would be basically kind of a smaller bus, but you would have a testing room on this end, a testing room on that end. We've even, you know, even came in, if we couldn't get a hold of the bus, we set up. We could do swabs. You know, we wouldn't really be able to do the 15-minute test because we can give people answers in 15 minutes. We could mouth swab. It's going to take 2 weeks, but we're happy to do it. We're happy to bring it back. You know, but of course, the busiest place in town is the Tom Thumb. It's a busy parking lot, so if we could park, you know, either set up or park, you know, comparable to that across the street, diagonally across the street, something like that, that would be great. We've thought about maybe doing some mail outs up to like the Betts Mill area, and go around. We can put flyers out, let people know that we're here. You know, we would do everything we could do to do some outreach prior to setting up. But, you know, we could come once a month. We could get on a regular schedule with coming up here. You know,
So we would be in conjunction with Pan Care now, and they would provide like their flu shots and stuff like that?
we work in conjunction with Pan Care, Health Department, and yeah, we certainly could coordinate something with
I
Pan
know
Care.
Pan Care came for a while, you know, done the monthly clinics here, you know.
So that is something we could, approach PanCare. We just did an event with them in Bay County up at the Walgreens parking lot. They set their bus up and we just kind of all did our thing. And it was nice because you could provide more than one opportunity. One more thing too, I'm gonna throw this in here, something extra. PanCare is fixing to start with optometry services. So if you have people that can't afford to get their vision checked and things like that, they are fixing to start having services. And I have contacted the Lions Club, they do take donations of old glasses frames, but they also locally provide frames for people who are deserving. And that I asked them if they had a relationship with a local optometrist that would put lens in them, and they said they did. So PanCare is getting big. They're growing all the time. And PanCare is who we use for our medications. For Hep C, we refer people to Avicenna Clinic and have case management that gets them through that process. For prevention, for PrEP, for HIV, we work that through PanCare. Now, I do want to explain a little bit of PrEP, and you do have information in your bag, but if this is your cell and this is HIV, PrEP is going to put an armor around your cells. Where HIV, if it comes up, it's going to push it off. You don't have PrEP, if HIV comes at you, it's slipping in, it's going to turn itself into HIV and go out and spread through your body. So PrEP is a really great thing, and it's a great thing that's come about, and it can be life-changing for people. If a woman is raped, assaulted, or you simply wake up and don't know your partner, it happens. If you catch that within 72 hours, there is a medication you can take that you're not going to get HIV if you feel like you've exposed yourself to it. But like I said, I do ask that you go over your information in your bag. I put my card in there. I'm not sure if I wrote my personal cell phone number on the back of the card in there. I hope I did. But if any of y'all would like to call me or have a further conversation about anything, or you have any ideas of how I can help serve your community, which is, I consider my community too. I live in Paradise Lakes. I get my mail here because my cousin Laurel worked there for years and years. So, I consider myself part of this community too. And anything I can do to serve good public health, I want to be able to offer it. But one of the big things is I don't know who has to approve any literature or information into your library, but I certainly would like to include that. And, we can bring information as often as it's needed. So any other questions?
Madam Chair, ma'am. I have two questions. Does your services include abortion?
No, we do not do abortion. We just,
Talking about within 3 days, you don't do the...
we don't do that pill. No, we don't do the day after pill. And actually, your day after pill is offered in CVS.
Okay, then the next question is, will we expect to see someone from your agency be back here at budget time asking for money?
No, we are not asking for money from you because we are funded. We have grants, and that's why we're doing the work that we do. We have grants that provide the funds for us to operate. So no, it is nothing that would ever cost you. We're bringing to you. So no, we would not have any, Wausau would have no financial burden with this. It just basically, we would be providing a service to your constituents that would be available to them free of charge.
They sound great to me. I mean, I don't know how the rest of them feel.
Yeah.
It sounds fine to me.
Okay.
If we can get them coordinated with PanCare and get them come in at the same time, offer more services, then this year would be probably better to get more people.
Does PanCare
I agree.
No, they haven't been in a while.
I can reach out to PanCare. And, ask them when they would be available to maybe do us, an event up here.
To just see how it turned out, to see if there was a need for a monthly or a quarterly presence here.
If I had people that needed condoms, wanted to test, I would come up here every day. You let us know you need us, we want to be here to help.
This vacant lot out here would probably be big enough to offer some privacy, a place to park, and ample parking for anybody that would use the service if we decided to do it.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking, that lot over there.
I would like to offer to the fire department, partner with her.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that because if we have visibility where we're at, more people may stop. I would, certainly we'd take it, we'd appreciate it. We would put flyer, balloons, whatever we needed to do to cause attraction. We're just trying to find ways in. But the more visibility we have, because I'm really kind of thinking if we're across the street, we're going to need to actually go over to Tom Thumb and go, hey, we're across the street. Come see us.
That was in front of the fire department, right?
Absolutely.
That'd be a good location.
I think that would be a great, I think it'd be a better location
And
to
we
me.
can open the door and give them access to our bathrooms. I have no problem with that. I think it's a great idea.
Awesome.
That's our bill.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the council have to okay that, but yeah.
Okay.
It is on the table.
Okay. So, would I just wait to maybe hear back from you? Okay. And can I write down your name and phone number?
Okay.
Okay. We'll also bring in, we'll have like little tchotchke stuff to give away. I don't know. I think I'll put some stuff.
What'd you say?
It'd be tchotchke, like, hand sanitizer,
Oh, yeah.
mask, we'll bring little bags, umbrellas, whatever it is. We've got all that kind of junk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I have your hand up on my notes?
Yeah.
Minutes?
This right here, I normally do not share this.
Okay, I'll got it then, I'll get it off the table.
Would you like to take pictures of it with your phone?
No.
Okay.
No, I got it, I'll get it, I got
She
it, yes,
can email it to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can do that.
yeah.
Put your email on here. Okay, because this is kind of like one of the only copies I have. And I just kind of typed that up, so I hate to give my notes away. But, any information you have, if it doesn't pertain to you, share it. There may be somebody that don't know how to talk to their teenager. It's a hard conversation to have. I didn't have a mom. My mama died when I was little. Do you think my daddy talked to me about anything? No. And you know what? I was a young girl that did not know my boundaries. And I made a lot of mistakes. Survived them. But there's people that were like me. Not everybody has the best of everything. So we gotta help protect them. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And hopefully we can get together and do some good work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mr. Steve?
Nobody showed up. But Miss Margaret does have a ticket for the fish drive, pre-order, so.
Yeah, I got tickets for fish fry in my office.
They're what?
$8 in advance or $10 for the night of the dinner.
What's the date? Oh, the fun day thing?
Yeah.
Monday, Possum and King.
That was 6.
The dinner's gonna start at 5, we'll start handing out fish dinner
On
at 5.
August the 6th.
The King thing starts at 6. So the show will start at 6, our dinner will start at 5.
One in the Civic Center.
No, that's here.
That's the pageant.
That's
week
on the
before.
31st.
That's the beauty pageant, and then Friday night is the Possum King and Queen pageant, and then Saturday is fun day.
The ticket I have, what day is the fish fry? is?
Fish fry will be on the 6th, Friday night on
August
the
the
6th.
6th. August the
On
6th.
Friday night.
At
Friday
5
night.
p.m.
Okay, we have, Roger and I have signed all the documents on closing on the furred out lawns and the floor covering lawns. It's my understanding that, the floor covering, the vinyl has already been ordered and paid for, so, we're good on that. Our revenue estimates are in, but they're not complete yet, they're waiting on a conference, so we should still be able to begin the budget workshops in August, which will conjunction that first one with our regular workshop, which will be on August the 11th.
August 11th.
Mhm. You have in your packets, I reached out to Mr. Jeff on the code enforcement issues that y'all wanted to, have looked at. Jeff had to write those letters for us, and he sent back that he doesn't do that, you know.
Oh, here it is, right here.
Yeah, we have to go through the county because when they've done that interlocal, all of our code enforcement goes through the county first. So if y'all would like for me to send these names and list of names onto the county, I'll be glad to go ahead and forward them to.
He can't write a letter.
I sent him a copy of what we did
That
before.
we, are trying to prevent the need for code enforcement. We're trying to, intervene before it goes to court. We know the code enforcement has to come from the county, but he couldn't, that's an expensive proposition if he could prevent it with a letter.
I'll go reach back out to him, tell him all in one.
Reach back out to him, if he says he can't, ask him, can you do one?
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be.
I sent a copy of what we sent the last time when we mailed out to everybody. I said, this is what we sort of want, that we want you to give you an opportunity to claim your property before it has to go further, you know? And I told him that's basically all we wanted, you know? But
I think Mr. Parks did, and I did too, that by coming from the attorney,
Yeah.
not to take away from you, but it might have a little more shocking effect, but if he
I'll
says,
reach back out.
if he says he can't do it,
I'll prepare one.
can you do? And if not, I would prepare next month to vote to send it, if that's still your recommendation.
When did you say that workshop was?
I think it's August 11th, isn't
That's
it?
on a Wednesday.
Well, it might be, it's on the
Must be.
Thursday. What's the Thursday, the second Thursday in August?
Second Thursday's 12.
The 12th, yeah.
Okay.
August the 12th.
Yeah, Wednesday is the 11th.
Must have something else on the Wednesday on my mind. I got on the agenda the 12th, so it's on the back of your agenda's on the 12th. Okay, and I've had two requests to lower the speed limit. One is on 4th Avenue, which is, turns into Ole Road when it goes out of the city. And then on Core Lane, which, you know, we were told previously, you know, that we couldn't change those speed limits because the county had set them at 35 due to the four-wheelers and all, you know, being able to go on the roads if it's under 35 miles an hour. So I reached out to Sheriff Cruz, and he sent me a back, and he said the town council can change the speed limits as long as it's a city street. Now, I'm not sure where jurisdiction it ends on. I would think our jurisdiction on our city street on 4th Avenue would end at Hamlis Lane. And Coral Lane has always been in the city. But I don't want to step on the Washington County's toes, you know. They're really concerned about the traffic coming 4th Avenue. And a parent told me this afternoon, he said, if they don't do something on Coral Lane, I'm going to start throwing bricks. They live right on the corner of Coral Lane and Finch Circle, and they got little kids.
We got kids on, Mount Street up there too.
And they,
And, if we lower it on Core Lane, let's lower it on both of them streets up there.
I agree with that.
but we can do
Fourth
that.
Avenue is a city street because it's a part of the plat when we originally incorporated. It's part of the town also. My opinion is that Ord and Core are because the city annexed that property in the streets. Now, the question of that may become, since the county maintains it, then whose road is it? If we say it's our road, they may say take care of it.
Well, I would be glad to ask Sheriff Cruz to be here next month, or ask him to come to the workshop, and we could put it on the agenda.
That'd be good for him, because the problem is not gonna be lowering speed limit, put up a sign, the problem will be enforced. But who's gonna sit down here to all hours of the night, they to catch somebody? And my suggestion, my thought is, I'd probably not only invite the sheriff, I'd get the county administrator to see what their attorney says, because they may say what I just said, that's their road, and we can't set a speed limit.
And Jeff will be here at our next regular meeting in August.
Yeah.
Our attorney,
I'm in
yeah.
favor of lowering these speed limits on these back streets.
They're 20.
It's seldom that a car goes down there, but they some that when they do go down there, they try to get to the other end in a hurry.
Okay, I'll do all that and have it on the agenda for next month. We have collected, y'all don't think I never collect anything, but we have collected from the top of them.
Wow.
We got a check for $17,000.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. But, and, that's all I have.
What about the microphone, sir?
Oh, yeah, I didn't change my mind yet. There's grant come down, CDBG funds, that are Hurricane Michael funds. We cannot use that on the Possum Palace. We can apply again for Possum Palace funds to finish that project. We can't use it on our new firehouse because it was built prior after Hurricane Michael. But we can use it, and I'm not sure if you remember, Roger, but since I've been here, the generator at the main tank down there and some of the piping down there, really, anything to do that, we can do funds for that, and there's not a limit of how much we can ask for, you know, but we need a new generator and new piping, and we need that barrier around that propane tank, you know, if we could get those with micro funds. Because if y'all remember, we paid out a tremendous amount of overtime having to babysit that generator every 2 hours, you know. And it's old.
That generator probably still cranks with a flipper.
I don't know. I've been here
I don't
almost
know
25
that, I don't know
years.
that it's the one when the water system was put in, but it may go back nearly that far.
It may
We may
do.
have replaced it when we put on our new tank and some things like that. We may have replaced it because that other generator was actually out here.
That was before my time, and I've been here in February 25 years, so, you know,
So it hasn't been-
it's out of its lifespan, and anything,
I don't remember where that propane tank is.
it's down
You
there.
remember the propane tank?
We got a 500 gallon.
But if we could replace that generator, you're talking about preventative measures.
Yeah,
That
something that's where it won't
last
happen
time,
again.
Dave, you're about,
No, Jimbo.
Jimbo, just
Yeah.
about spent the night down there.
Every night for 14 days.
He was down there every 2 hours, over and over. We could replace that generator, make sure our automatic transfer switch and all like that, well, that'd be a good
Yeah,
thing.
we need it upgraded.
Where's that propane tank?
It's right down there by us.
Upside the building?
Yeah, upside down.
I probably usually can't see it as part of the building, I'm not remembering, but I know we got propane running.
Well, on that, I just need a motion to contact the engineers about preparing a cost estimate and get it to authorize Fred Foster to submit our grant.
If it's unlimited, we can ask for what else is a need,
Mhm.
and,
It has to be tied back to micro damage. Or tied back to Hurricane Michael, or preventative, like, you know.
Did he come back?
our bill,
Talk up, y'all not talking loud enough. It's like the two of you just talking conversation.
Oh, sorry, I'm usually loud.
get loud again.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, this building was nothing lasting on this building was damaged.
No, we got the new roof, FEMA paid for a new roof.
I just hate for us to get the grant and 2 weeks later, say, oh, we ought to have.
Yeah,
I'm in favor of the generator, if that's what the council wants to do. But if we can get, if there's anything else, now's an opportunity to ask for it.
why can't we ask for a generator there and a generator here? Because, you know, we were down for those 14 days that we were out of power, and the last municipality to get power back in Washington County. And if it hadn't been for both, I wouldn't have got it then, but, if I had it cell number. But we need one here, you know, to run this town hall and that would be, you know,
Absolutely. We can't get back up, in today's world, you can't get back up till you got electric and your computers and your phones and things like that. It's all so much.
well, we really need something here, and we really need a new roof if we're gonna use the old firehouse out there for a maintenance building, you know, or storage of some of the surplus fire trucks, you know, something that we need out there. There's a lot we need, you know, but getting it tied back, we can tie that roof back, Michael, because it'd like to come off.
If we want to do it, should we ask, we tell Mr. Fox, here's our shopping list, and let him tell us what the best chances of getting funded is, and go for that. I like the 2 generators, really, really good, I do.
I do too.
I like that roof too, but if I had to choose, I'd take the generators.
Let's put them all on the list and see how many we can get.
That's right, there
Like the
you go.
generator number 1, we'll fix that roof on number 2, and
Yeah.
we'll get the funds for that.
Is there a motion to send our wish list to Fred Fox then?
Okay, I need a motion to send it to Fred Fox.
I'll make a motion to send it.
Need a second?
Second.
Mr. Parks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
Walsingham?
Yes.
Yes.
And then chair votes yes.
That's last night,
Mr. Parks, you got anything?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Walsingham, you have anything?
No.
Ms. Carter?
I have one problem. It's to do with the fire department. The runoff water from the fire department is running in my front yard and washing away my second tank.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah. On both ends of my trailer. So, what do we do about it?
Guess you're gonna have to move, Judy.
I spent too much to get there.
Alex said that they have a backup plan if this happens, they can do something. If y'all want me to contact him and get him to come look at it, I will do that. But there was a backup plan, wasn't there, Adam, if the water runoff wasn't taken care of by the holding ponds? He told me something, but I can't remember.
I was
I'm
thinking he said
just trying to
something.
figure out, I'm trying to, I'll have to see it to understand it, see where the water's coming from. I'll let it hit.
Oh, okay, feel free to go over
We
and
had-
walk around my property.
We had that discussion
They shut
several
down the
times.
driveway and across
That's
the
when,
street.
that's the meeting, he told us they had a backup plan, if they didn't.
We had that discussion several times, that we was afraid that was gonna happen before. And I kinda got to ask if we have a backup plan to take care of it, why we didn't use that to start with.
I think he did ask that. I don't know. We still haven't paid them all their money, so, you know, we're still holding money right now.
I
Are
thought
you
there
got a
was
lot of
some
immediate
about
damage?
area.
Has he got time to come look at it? Have you got a lot of immediate damage?
Oh, he can come look. I got time.
I'll get Alex up here. Let's see.
That's all I got.
Mr. Hayden?
Okay, I got a call from the county manager a few days ago, first from the emergency management director, and then from the county manager. The county has a 50-foot square piece of property on the site. The EOC is on 11 acres, and we own a 50-foot square piece of property right in the middle of that. The county and the city worked together when, I think it was after the 2005 hurricane season, when Governor Bush appropriated money through the legislature to build EOCs all over the state, and we got one of them. And at that time, we were needing a backup well in the town, and we worked with the county to secure the property, you know, and that we would use a place to build it amounts to what the well and the little house and all these out here, the George Rogers Court. That's eventually where we had to go to, but it was designed first to go out there. The county needs to build behind the EOC. They now are housing animal control in that same building. They need to build like a pole barn or a holding pen for larger animals like horses and cattle and things like that. And eventually they're looking at fencing the whole property because they've had some large animals out there that actually got out on the highway. And he wanted to know, would we, if we have no longer have a service, a need for that piece of property, would we relinquish that because it's right in the center of that long piece, and they're going to need to be where they could drive in and out over some things like that. And don't know what kind of damage or things like that. The chance of us ever needing a 50-foot dry hole is probably not too great, and that well is capped off underneath. I have made Mr. Massey aware of that, and he asked if we would consider deeding that to them, and I told him I'd bring it to the council. I didn't ask for lots of paving or lots of other things in exchange for it. I just told him I'd bring it to the council. We work so good with the county, and they do with us, and actually have done lots of work for us when they had inmate crews and things like that. We don't need 50-foot square right in the middle of their property, I don't think. But
It's 50-foot square.
yes, sir. Just enough to drill a well and put that house down on top of it. Is all that was there. So if we don't think we need it, they would like for us to transfer to them. That's their request.
I need a motion to deed it.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and deed that back to the county. Is that right? Is that what you?
I'll save it for discussion.
Okay.
And the discussion is, I'd like for us to put some kind of stipulation in there that if there is ever anything on that 50-foot that relates to sink or anything, because we did drill a hole there one time, that it's not our responsibility. We don't have any responsibilities. That we give it to them, and they take the liability. I don't think they'll ever be that we'll relinquish it to them.
Mr. Parks, how do you vote?
Did we get a second on that?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Walsingham?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
I got a call from the pastor of the Wausau Assembly of God, and their concern is what can they do to help the town. They want to be they want to do something for the city. They want to be the neighbor. They want to be civic minded and things like that. He discussed with me I thought a very large sum of money that they might be interested in, and he said that he personally had gone down and looked around, and the old fish fry building next to the Apostle Palisade roof is just, I don't know that it's nearly rusted through, but it's certainly rusted to the point of it's not very attractive right next to fixing to be a new building. And I think he said that maybe one of the buildings or something, some part of the building over around maybe the concession stand. I didn't go down to that. The afternoon we drove out there, the weather was not too good, and I didn't go on over that way, but I did go out and look at the long building, and a good new roof on that would be a good thing. I asked Margaret to do some checking into the cost of some of the rubber pallets that used to be under our, when we got the grant to put that in there, all the groundwork under the, and also, it may be that we want to think about some playground equipment. I don't know, some of that stuff I'm thinking was probably built maybe by the vocational school or, we bought some new stuff with a grant or two, but some of those, and I don't know that the old go around thing is still there, but.
It's still there, they sure know that they like it.
I don't know if some swings or some seesaws or some other kind of equipment on the playground would be some. And he said it would not be restricted, except that it would be for public use, and all. If we have something that we think that we could use the money for, I'm supposed to report back to him. He used a figure of $10,000 plus or minus, and he had a plus open there. We wouldn't to take advantage of certainly of a friend or offer like that, but I don't know how much playground equipment the $10,000 would buy, and I don't know what kind of roof, how much roofing or covering it would cover, but I think that's a good offer on the part of the church. If he has a board meeting next week, and I need to report to him as to whether or not we will accept their gift, and then I don't guess that we have to tell him right now what we would use it for, but maybe the chair would like to want somebody to negotiate with them, or some of us to talk to them about, do they have a preference? Did you tell me you want the roof done because that's what you want your money spent on? Do you want to spend on playground equipment or something like that? It's going to be designated monies, but not designated to the point that we can't use it wherever the public can have access to it. So I think that's a generous offer.
Is that precious?
It is.
That shed down there definitely needs work.
Which shed?
The fish fry shed down at the long.
Oh, cook shed?
Yeah, the cook shed.
Oh, yeah. But look at all makes the character. But I do have a suggestion. We remember 3 years ago, me and Sam took the slide out. That big slide. Now we promised we was gonna do it. I think it might have been part of the grant, right? But we do need another big slide like that because the kids miss that slide. So it might be something y'all want to think about, putting a big slide in there for the kids, because that was a double slide.
Yeah.
And I still have that slide sitting nowhere in the steps that anybody because I know it's a historical.
My children use that slide too, and I still think it's probably one of our bigger liabilities down there.
Yeah, it was.
Standing up, walking up it backwards, falling off,
Oh,
breaking
you know how many times
on. We
I've
went
been afraid of my
through
life
the broken
before.
arm thing off of a slide in school.
We don't have to be that big.
But that's exactly the kind of thing I think he's asking for feedback from.
And then the little slide that we have over behind section stand, it's got a big hole in plastic right there at the end. I was talking to Tim the other day about if we could fiberglass on. He said, "You don't really know how to fiberglass, but the hole's about that big around, and it's right there at the end with a yellow slide."
That'll hurt somebody.
So it needs to be fiberglassed over and sanded.
I guess we need to decide if we want to accept the offer and how to paint it. I don't know there.
I think that's not no bother.
I'd sure take it, and you would be a good one to meet with them and ask questions there. You know.
I do. I would do that if the council.
Yeah,
if we-
I would suggest that.
Is that our motion?
Yeah, I'm
Make a
making a
motion.
motion. Yeah.
I got a second?
I'll second the motion.
We gotta appoint somebody first.
Well, he made that in with his motion to accept the offer of the church
Okay.
and appoint Mayor Hagan to meet with the pastor and church.
How do you vote, Mr. Parks?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Wausau?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. All right.
I think Margaret got a couple more.
Yeah, yeah. As our custom has been when we have a death in the community, especially one that's connected to or has been with the council, we send flowers to the memorial. It's my understanding that former mayor, former council person, Bernie Palmer, her husband passed, and there's not going to be a formal memorial service. I visited with her and asked about us, rather than some bouquets out of whips, send her a plant to go in the yard because she has yard plants and things like that. And she said she preferred that we not do that. Appreciates our concern about Mr. Palmer's loss, but if we wanted to do anything, that we would send a care package of some kind to the nursing home where Mr. Palmer was. I asked Margaret, was she called and asked what kind of things that they would need or something like that. We usually, our flowers, I think, have run between $75 and $100 in the past, and so maybe we would make a contribution. Maybe they need sandy wipes or hand sanitizers or
Lots of
continence material,
lotions, they
lotions
say,
or
like
things
travel
like that.
size lotion.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff like that.
So, I don't know what we might do, but, rather than trying to make some kind of further contact with flowers or plants or anything like that, I'd make a motion that we send a care package to the nursing home in, memory of Mr. Palmer.
I'll second the motion.
Well, now, how much is that care package for?
Anywhere between 75 and 100.
Yeah.
Oh, same as flowers?
Same as flowers, yeah.
Okay.
So we have Billy seconding.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Parks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Wausau?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
And chair votes yes.
And the last thing that I have, I spoke with Ronnie Bale today, and I asked him about pros and cons. Our cemetery looks much better now than in the last year. It's coming into shape, and things like that. It looks much better than it has, and it's really beginning to look real good. But sometimes after there's been some cleanup, or sometimes after some winds and things like that, some of the storms we have, we got debris that's scattered all over the place. I guess maybe Steve's crew, his team, picks some of that stuff up, but once in a while, we've got running over these green carts like this at residences. We have them running over, so then we get to pick that stuff up again. I talked to Mr. Bale today, and he said the smallest dumpster that they have is a 2-yard dumpster. And he said that we already have 2 containers up there. To put a 3rd container up there, you would be within $10 of what the dumpster would cost you, and the capacity would be greatly increased, and the lids would stay on better. The lids on those green ones, and it does in my home, I'm sure all of you experience that, those green lids blow open, and that container will blow over if you don't have something heavy in the bottom of it. You can drive around most any day after storm and find green containers laying blown over. So I talked with Margaret about that. What are the downsides? The upside, Ronnie said, you got greater capacity, you got lids that's more likely to stay closed than the green ones are. The wheels won't come off of a dumpster because there's not any wheels on it. The maintenance is, and the life of it is longer. The wheels come off of these others, they'll get bent and torn and punched and things like that. It would be easier for Tim to, he could take a little pressure washer or something like that if he does, kind of get down to something clean. The downside that I see to it is that if we put a dumpster out there, it's like every other dumpster in town. Somebody will drive by and decide that that's a good time to empty their car, or maybe I don't know why anybody in Wausau would go and put it in the dumpster because they're being charged already on their water bill to have their garbage hauled off, but every once in a while.
I don't think it's Wausau.
Yeah, probably Wausau. Every once in a while, somebody's going to put something in there. I see that as a downside, but I think if we could put that dumpster around there, maybe not now, but maybe in the future, we could put a little slab there, set it, it's level, it looks neat, it looks clean, we could put it at the gate of the cemetery, maybe opposite from the side where the little memorial is or something like that. I think that would be a good thing. So I talked with Margaret. I hope Monty ain't watching this. I talked with Margaret, and actually our contract calls for the cities to be the city's facilities to be covered and no additional cost because we're building and collecting and all that. That's an agreement. So actually, Ronnie was giving me the representative's answer that he would give, what's the cost of this, what's the cost of that. He wasn't giving our contract, which is no cost to us. So in effect, that means that we could get a dumpster up there and it wouldn't cost us anything. If we had a dumpster, I said, well, we could get by with once a month pickup. He said, if you've got a dumpster, you'll still get once a week pickup, even with that, if it's got something in it, or don't have anything in it. So our green cans.
That probably won't be, it'll probably be an on-call like our possum pallets. See, we don't pay for the possum pallets, but they only dump it when we call.
Okay, every what our.
Whenever our schedule is.
Okay. We got one green one up there at the Memorial Drive. At one time, one of the other ones was down there about off the end of the end of the road where my dad or Mr. Lord Radham, somewhere in that area over there on that, it was against the fence over there. And both of them were running over. And Steve, I don't know if they've been picked up or not. You may know what.
I haven't been up there. Well, last time I went up there was a couple of days ago, and I really didn't look that far.
Yeah, but anyway, that's.
Or were they broke?
Well, sometimes the squeal spray. I think the ones that's up there now have been put up there within the last year. Some of these have, but
They're not broken, I don't think.
so I don't think.
When we leave here, I'll go up there.
Yeah, I don't think
Make sure they're out of the fence. That's another thing too. If we don't take them from that fence and put them around the other side of the fence, they don't get picked up.
That's right.
You know, because that truck driver ain't gonna get out there and pull that green thing around there.
He pulls through that first gate, and the one he can reach is the one that gets in.
And that dumpster would have to be placed, you know, where they could get in there with that front loaded truck and get it out.
Well, there's plenty.
I'm sure.
That's plenty of room.
I'm sure if we've got a dumpster, they'd find a place to. Even if you put it outside the fence right there on me, they could just drive right straight up to
Yeah,
it.
they'll come out and show you.
We could find something there. And we got I gave them 15-foot easement there many years ago, so it would be on an easement that the city already has.
I'm sure phone Joe make a motion to it.
Okay, I need a motion to put a dumpster up there at the cemetery.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Parks, how you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Wausau?
Yes.
Mr. Hayden?
Yes.
And Chair votes yes.
And I have nothing else.
Only thing I have is to talk about the, Fun Day Parade. Mr. Adam, if you'll come up. I've been approached or asked, I don't know what the fire department has in mind or planned for the parade or dealing with Fun Day. But if there was gonna be fire trucks or, you know, if y'all were gonna participate in the parade.
Sure. We plan on leaving, at least with one truck. We're right now trying to figure out what capacity we're gonna have at, how we want to be seen. You know, what part do we want to play in at least the parade. And what we're thinking right now is most likely leading it and having our guys maybe walk beside the truck, handing out ices or something. I want this patch to be seen. You know, I want our presence to be known, of like, these are our people and we want to be seen. So we're going to be there in present somehow or another. We haven't figured out exactly how yet.
And I like the idea of you thinking about leading it, because that's exactly who I would like to see on our truck.
Oh yeah, the reason we went there last year is because of the pandemic. I mean, we're part of the EMS service, so, you know, I didn't view it as productive inviting people out in the middle of a pandemic, and I honestly didn't think it was good for our fire department to be seen part of that. You know, as part of the medical services. You know, we were going out to these people's houses and having to wear masks and everything else. Last thing I want to do is invite them together for a big party. So.
Sometimes I do rethink my vote, and that's one that I have rethought over the last few months, is we changed our minds too many times on that.
Mhm.
We may have sent some bad signals or something, but that was a year ago.
And it is.
We can't undo that.
Right, but yeah, if they're gonna have the parade, we're gonna lead it, we'll be there. No problem.
Don't talk loud.
Oh, Ms. West just asked me to address the situation. Chief Rudd called me yesterday and said that he had gotten a phone call that he was supposed to be at the meeting tonight, and the council was gonna ask for his resignation. We just want it known that no one on the council wants Sam's resignation or going to ask him to resign. Is that right, Carol?
You're right.
So that's
And that's news to me.
me too. I didn't.
Yeah.
Too, I didn't
Me
know.
too.
Okay.
I got one more motion. I make a motion to adjourn.